It was in New York in 2005. It was my first time in New York, and a friend took me to see Kathleen Turner in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. A very good performance. And when I went out of the theatre, I saw opposite this huge sign saying doubt. And I wondered what that was. Only the title is very compelling and subtle and upsetting as a title. And I asked my friend, and she said that it was the play that got the Tony Award for Best Play that year. And I didn't have enough time to go and see the play, so I just I bought the script. And as soon as I read it, I knew that I wanted to do it with Alpha Square one day in Cyprus. And I'm very happy to say that now in 2009, we can do that. Reading the text, I was amazed by the characters, the four characters, the way the author, the playwright, introduces and develops these four characters. I thought that dramatically it's something that really attracted me, and I wanted to see these characters and their conflict on stage.
Oh, but everyone loves the Christmas pageant.
I don't love it. Quite frankly, it offends me. Last year, the girl playing Our Lady was wearing lipstick. I'm waiting in the wings for that little jade.
You will tell me what you've done.
Oh, I will.
Oh, yes.
I'm not one of your truant boys, you know.
With the actors, I was very, very comfortable from day one. Most of them I've worked with before, either as director or as actor on stage. And I was very happy to just talk. There was a lot of talking, a lot of discussion. And after that, we got to the more drama rehearsal.
That's great. I don't know if you felt the difference, but it forces her as well, James, to react and be afraid.
Yeah.
When she sees that, oh my God, this whole issue is getting a priest angry and shouting, this is huge. She realizes it's huge. I like it a lot. Now, what would be nice for you to play with is to show, and you did it, but to show regret after the shout, every time after you shout, because you're not that type of person. And then it's great. I like that.
Much better. Yes, feel much better with that.
Yes, and feel free to clearly section it, to give it even more pause, and then remember to speak. With more section. Let's do the ending. Now, after all this, which has been overwhelming, you are actually walking back. And I think that's some sort of determination. I don't believe it, you know, and I wanted you to know. I've just decided I don't believe it.
Father Flynn is almost a mysterious figure. Mysterious because we cannot, there are no clear answers given about his past or even about the present situation, the mystery of this play. We find the charisma in Father Flynn. We find his modern methods. He is passionate about his vocation and his teaching, but the doubts of Sister Aloysius at some point get to us as the audience.
Now, the thing about shooting from the foul line, it's psychological. The rest of the game, you're cooperating with your teammates. You're competing against the other team. But at the foul line, it's you against yourself.
One pause. Find the lights. No. Yes.
Ah, that's over there.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Continue. want to take it from the beginning, that's fine.
That's fine. No. And the danger is, you start to think.
Well, it's difficult to say much because the central mystery is whether or not I've molested a child, which I want to keep hidden. Obviously, I know, and I'm the only one of the 4 actors that does.
Who tell you that the light in your heart is a weakness, that your soft feelings betray you. I don't believe that. It's an old tactic used by cruel people to kill kindness in the name of virtue. Don't believe it. There is nothing wrong with love.
Of course,
Have you forgotten that was the message of the Saviour to us all? Love of people, not suspicion, disapproval and judgment. Love of people. Have you found Sister Aloysius to be a positive influence?
I don't want to misspeak, but no.
She's a very talented speaker, very talented, very charismatic sort of priest. But that in itself causes some people to be suspicious of him just because he is charismatic rather than dowdy and boring and priestly. I mean, when the play is set, 1964 is an interesting time anyway because of that sense of change during the early 60s. I mean, we've universalised it, but there is still that sense of expectation of things are changing very rapidly. And he reflects that sort of change. But it was a very hard-fought change over that decade. So there's these little battles that we have between myself and Sister Aloysius occurred throughout Western society over that sort of period. So it's a good little microcosm of those periods of change that were going on. But yeah, he's a good character to play because he's got the levels, he's got the depths, he's got the agendas all going on, which are good to tap into. So it's been exciting to play. I sound excited, don't I? At the moment, I'm just yeah, he's good. I like him a lot.
Did you hear that wind last night?
I certainly did. Imagine what it must have been like in the Dark Ages, when the man alone in the woods sat by his fire in his cloak and listened to a sound like that. Imagine the loneliness, the immense darkness pressing in, how frightening it must have been.
If one lacked faith in God's protection, I suppose it would be frightening.
Did I hear Sister Veronica had an accident?
Yes, Sister Veronica fell on a piece of wood this morning and practically killed herself.
Is she all right?
Oh, she's fine.
Her sight isn't good, is it?
Her sight is fine. Nuns fall, you know.
No, I didn't know that.
It's the habit. It catches us up.
Sister Aloysius is the oldest of the 3 characters on stage by a generation, I would say. Father Flynn is supposed to be in his 30s, so is Mrs. Miller, the mother of the black girl, and Sister James is supposed to be late 20s. Sister Aloysius, on the other hand, is late 50s, early 60s, something like that. So there is a generation gap. And she is somewhat old-fashioned, and if I stay straight-laced, that might give the wrong impression. She's been brought up to think in a certain way. And because it works for her, she can't see any reason for going another way. And this leads to quite a lot of the conflict with Father Flynn. The conflict with Sister James is less, but also on this basis, in that Sister James is young and can see a warmer way of doing things. For Sister Aloysius, there is a set of rules, and the rules work. Situations arise, and we are confronted with wrongdoing and the need to act.
I have to take the boys up to class.
Go on then. Take them. But I will be talking to you.
first thing that I noticed was the innocence of the character and how young and not naive, but how dedicated she is to the church and her religion, but also that she has no other experience of life. So as I don't even think, I think she was a very young girl, or not even a teenager, maybe a teenager when she went to become a nun. So she has no experience of life, and she's just dedicated to God and to her faith.
I have reports
What
to
do you
fill.
think of Father Flynn?
Oh, he's a brilliant man. What a speaker.
Yes. Yes, his sermon this past Sunday was poetic.
He's actually very good too at teaching basketball. I was surprised. I never thought a man of the cloth a personality type for basketball. He has a way he has, very natural with dribbling and shooting.
What do you think that sermon was about?
What?
On one very small piece of evidence, and she's built a whole case against him on that one fairly flimsy piece of evidence. But she thinks she's right. She doesn't think she's right, she knows she's right. And that gives her the strength to carry it through to the end.
But we can corroborate his story with Mr. McGinn.
Oh yes, these types of people are clever. They're not so easily undone.
Sorry, Alexia, wait before you move.
Okay.
Sister James, I always find a very central character in the play, in the sense that if we think as Father Flynn and Sister Aloysius as the two pillars of this battle, then we've got Sister James, who is observing this, much like the audience, and is very confused. She really wants to believe that there's good, and that good will prevail. But of course, that's not always the case, as in real life. And I think that we watch this along with Sister James, and we are disappointed, and our beliefs are crushed and twisted along with Sister James.
I don't think Father Flynn did anything wrong.
No? He convinced you?
Yes, he did. Did you ever prove it?
What?
That he interfered with Donald Miller?
You see all the other characters, you see two sides. You see them, you see Sister Aloysius, the strong Sister Aloysius, who fights and wants to prove that she is right about what she believes, and then her breaking down. You see these two sides. You see Father Flynn, what he's going through. You see Mrs. Miller. You see Sister James's conflict, but Sister James is perhaps the only character who stays on the same road throughout the play. Everyone else goes off. Sister James, I believe, stays on the same road from start to end. At the end, she's the only one who hasn't left her path.
Mrs. Miller? Yes. Come in, please. Have a seat.
And this woman, obviously, she's been through some tough times, yeah? But she didn't succumb to it. Somehow she managed to raise up through these tough times, you know, and stand on her own 2 feet, and basically just do whatever she can to raise her child, to get the proper education, you know. Her husband obviously is not too much help, you know, and all she's got in the world is her son.
I believe this man is creating, or has already brought about, an improper relationship with your son.
I don't know.
I know I'm right.
Why do you need to know something like that for sure when you don't? Please, sister. You got some kind of righteous cause going with this priest, and you want to drag my boy into it. My son doesn't need additional difficulties. Let him take the good and leave the rest when he leaves his place in June. He knows how to do that. I taught him how to do that.
What kind of a mother are you?
Excuse me, but you don't know enough about life to say a thing like that, sister.
I know enough.
The thing is that she does get, you know, she's surprised that, you know, Father Flynn may have made some advances on her son, you know. But in the same sense, because she knows already that her son may be that way, I think it's because she's so concerned about her son and her son's education, surprisingly, she accepts that, you know. And sometimes life is not full of roses, and, you know, sometimes you have to do these things, you know, surprisingly enough. Yeah, just, you have to do it.
Before I spoke with Mrs. Miller, I took the precaution of telephoning